Okay, the system is stored in the top part of this box right here. Okay, I'm going to perform this operation by myself to show you the ease in which there is to set this up. An ideal scenario is using 2 to 3 men. I'm going to do it by myself, and some of the tricks how to do this. You bring your snatch block out and all your pins, drop them. Get your other poles. I want you to pay particular attention to the color of the pole. Red, green, blue. Red, green, blue. Hook up your controller. Remember the colors. Look at your colors. You want the colors up. Grab your green bar, place it. Go ahead and release your winch. Spool out some cable on your winch. Okay, while you remember, lock your winch back in to where it clicks back in. This is the opportunity now to put your cable in your snatch block. Undo your snatch block, pull your pin, rotate it open, lay your cable in, bring it back down. Now, if you wait till you have your cable up in the air, it's going to be harder for you to put it in. Take your leg, put it underneath the pole, put your pin in, put your keeper in, grab your second pole, drop your pin. Now let it down here. Look at your colors, keep track of your colors here. If that color's wrong, this pole won't go in. Or if you get your colors backwards and they don't match the hitch, the front bumper of this truck, when you go to raise it up, they're not going to fit. So colors make it very simple. Now pay particular attention to my body language here. I'm not bending over to pick this up. I'm coming straight down to use my legs. Now do this with 2 guys. I'm going to do it by myself to show you how you can do it. If you're going to do it by yourself, be strong enough and big enough to be able to do this. Do not attempt this if you can't bench over 100 pounds over your head. Do not attempt this at all. Ready? Come down, grab it right here, bring it up. Come on up. Now, look at this arm. Look where I've got this arm. Now, look where this hand is, down. This one's up. This is stabilizing. This is going to lift. One on the front, one on the back. Watch my legs. I come down and pick it up. Do not use your back. I lock it in. Grab a pin. Lock it in. Now, I'm going to show you a trick here. Notice, I'm not setting up against my accident. I'm setting away, because as my car is right here, or the thing I've got to lift is in the way, I'm bothering the people as they're getting it stabilized. What's going on here? While I'm setting up. Your other firefighters should be also stabilizing that car, getting your blocks out, getting all your cribbing out, getting the tools that you're going to need to pick this up. Again, I'm going to do this by myself so you can compare doing it by yourself, by 2 people, 3 people, so on and so forth. Also remember how much time it took me to do this by myself versus an airbag system. I'm going to show you another trick on how to set this up and make it easier to get into your scenes. Here's my colors again. Red with red. I'm going to go ahead and pin my foot on here. I am not setting up this other leg into here. I could place that foot in here, but I'm skipping that scenario in order to put my feet up here and get it ready to go. Now I'm going to pull forward up to my scene. Okay, as I'm pulling up to the scene, I am placing where I want my lift point dead in the center. I'm looking in the middle of my hood and placing myself where I want to go up. About right there. Notice the distance where I'm at. Go ahead, and preset my poles. Now, go ahead and take your safety chain and hook it up to keep it from sliding out. Finish setting your poles up. Now, notice my distance here. Look at my angle. If I start lifting and this cable's like this, it's going to want to pull the object towards me. I want this positioned over the piece I'm going to lift. Again, check my position, look at my cable. Wouldn't hurt to be bringing this up maybe another 6 to 8 inches. Okay, now look at my positioning. It looks really, really good. My automobile is actually about 2 inches from the edge of my leg, which is about right. In my chain kit, this is a good opportunity to go through what I'm carrying in the chain kit. How you set it up is your scenarios. I'm carrying 2 20-foot high test chains. Another thing you can use this chain for, say we was over a bridge banister and we're leaning way over to pick up a car over the edge of a bridge. We would go through this leg here and tie this leg to that bridge banister. Use one on one side, grab the other side of the 20-foot chain, use it to the other one. Always be looking. Here's your ratchet straps, a way you can secure to your objects. The other 20-foot chain, another ratchet strap. Okay, a frame hook. We can get these frame hooks. It's different styles of hooks, how you can hook into the frame of a vehicle. Say it's on its top or whatever. It's just another great tool to have. Okay, our J-hook sets. This is an item which is excellent to carry. This allows you to hook into a frame, hook into, an item out there. Whatever you hook into, make sure it's extremely stable enough to lift the object you're lifting. Don't be lifting this car hooked onto a tie rod or battery cable. Look what you're lifting and look to guess the weight and get the proper tools and make sure you're secure to that area. Okay, in this particular scenario, we've got an excellent place to hook into the frame. There's a void in here. That's a solid piece of framework. So I'm going to go ahead and take my J-hook, working under the car, and hook it right there. Get your controls to your winch. Now, you notice on this winch, red is out. Also, what I'm doing here is I'm making sure my cable is straight. Look how this cable has looped itself over this. If you lift with this cable in this position like this, you're going to damage the cable. When you unspool this spool, make sure you tie the truck to a tree or something and spool this cable up tight. If it's loose, you're going to damage the cable. So the one thing you look at is make sure the cable's straight. Like your rescue tools, you don't run over your hose, you don't lay your hose where you're cutting it, you don't drag it over a rough surface. Look at this so you don't have a cable failure. Roll it out, keep rolling it out. Keep coming out until it's straight. Now we've got her straight. Now let's start bringing it back in. There's all sorts of cribbing. Step chalk, wedges, and the regular straight cribbing. Now, this is where it's very important to have two people, or it's going to take a lot more time to do this. Get your cribbing, get underneath here. You'll start with your wedge, and you'll start picking it up. Make sure you're cribbing. As it comes up, keep sliding that wedge under there. Look how I'm sliding that underneath there. If something happens, under no circumstances is this ever to back out. Okay? Now, it's up high enough. Keep shoving your wedge in. Keep coming up. Keep coming up. Keep coming up. Keep coming up. Now, I am past my step chalk. Remember, you got somebody on the other side doing this too. If you don't, then you got to go back and forth and bring that cribbing in as it's coming up. If you're by yourself, you're going to work a lot harder getting this up. It's extremely hot today, so I'm taking a shortcut and pretending I have somebody on the other side. In fact, I'm really going to take a shortcut. Here's where I should be cribbing up. I'm not going to go over how to crib. You guys have already had that type of class and everything else. What I'm going to do is pretend we're cribbing as we come up and show you the height in which we have to pick this up. As I'm coming up, I'm also looking at all of this, checking this at all times and see what I've got going on. Is this collapsing? What's happening? Is my chain getting ready to slip? Look at it. Bring it up. Is the car lifting? Checking my patient. What's happening here? Okay. Do we have enough room to get the patient out right here? We can come on up. I'm just showing you the distance that we can pick up. Look at the distance we have accomplished. We don't have one patient, we have 2 or 3 underneath here we didn't know about. We see it now, it's open. But make sure you got the entire car stabilized. Do not get under this car, do not be picking this up without cribbing this and having it stabilized. This is just a scenario. What if we have a mechanical error somewhere? The J hook comes unhooked. We have a cable failure. Something comes unhooked and comes unclipped. That's the reason you gotta have it cribbed. Make sure you pay attention with this. This is not designed to replace the airbags. It's just another tool in the toolbox. Notice how long it took me to lift this thing by myself. Okay, in rural America, we work around a lot of farm equipment. Even in the inner cities, we got different types of equipment we got to lift up once in a while. We had a particular instance where an individual was trapped under a piece of farm equipment and we couldn't get it picked up with airbags because of the way the framing was and the sharp edges. So we had to go get a loader to get this thing picked up. We had to round up a loader. It took roughly an hour to get this piece of equipment off this individual. Okay, this scenario is showing sometimes where you got to build over the object you're going to pick up, or you straddle it and pick it up on there. So all I'm going to do is just show you a scenario where you can pick this up here. There's always a different way to use the tools that you're using. Always check what's in your toolbox and how to go about this. Again, let your equipment help you set it up. Almost made a mistake there. See the hook here and the latch here. Face them in. Chain your feet together so they don't blow out. Roll your cable up on your drum. Make sure your drum is nice and tight. Make your connection. Look at this position. Look at the angle of the legs. Look at the angle of the cable. Look how this is sitting. If we start lifting up on this, it's going to want to pull this. We do not want to pull on this. We want to lift it straight. So we've got to take this cable and reposition it and reposition our legs. Or we pull up a little bit and straighten it up. Look at my angle here. See, we're straight, everything's straight, we start picking. Now remember, I'm going to cut this scenario out here. Be cribbing up on this thing. As you're picking it up, you crib it up. This gives me the ability to lift up. Watch what's happening. Notice this is turning. Is that bothering something? Pay attention to what's going on. Slowly take it up. This gives me the ability. Check your legs. Make sure nothing's getting hit. Make sure you're cribbing as you're coming up. Keep bringing it up. Check yourself out. Look around. Look at your drum. How's everything looking? Slowly bring it up. Make sure this leg is still free. Check your cable. Keep it up. Okay, now we're getting into our cable here. Look at this. We basically have reached our limits because of the way we're picking up. If we have to go higher, we're going to have to reposition to get a higher lift on this thing and relocate on it. But check our distance we've accomplished here. Can we get our individual out of here? We've got it roughly a foot off the ground. That's where you have to make your determining factor. But be sure to be cribbing as you're raising this up at all times. Tear down is an exact opposite of assembly. You notice we repositioned back up onto the truck so we can back away from our scene to tear this down. If we try to tear it down here, we're going to get intertangled. So let's back it up. Okay, come out here. Pull your feet off. Let's go ahead and get our feet off this thing. Let the object help you. Again, make sure you put this hand up high, right here. Don't be lifting like this. Get yourself up and positioned here. Okay, unhook your cable. Lift it. Here is where it's particularly dangerous. Have another individual help you bring this thing down. You're going to pick it up and you're going to rock it in and slip it underneath the truck. Your legs are going to go right under the truck, the exact opposite as you raised it. Pull your pins, break it down, and it's ready to restore in the toolbox.